I'm Andrew Quattrin, and you're watching Rugby Wrap-Up.
Love it.
Next on Rugby Wrap-Up's Major League Rugby show, highlights, opinions, previews, plus San Diego's Nate Augspurger, Toronto's Andrew Quattrin, a mystery guest, and first-rate banter from Dan Power, Bryan Ray, and Matt McCarthy. Rugby Wrap-Up brought to you in part by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. We have our Major League Rugby show with Mr. Bryan Ray, a smiling Bryan Ray from up in Canada, Mr. Dan Power in the weight room in Denver, and yours truly in New York City, honoring the Toronto Arrows and honoring the bet that I lost with Bryan Ray, as the puppeteer Dan Power forced us into and coerced us. All right. But guys, we're not going to talk about any of that stuff, nor are we going to say hello to each other, because we have a very important mystery guest on the line right now. And you know how this works. We have hints, and you guys get to answer questions after hearing those hints. The hints are as follows. He has great hair. He is very strong. He's approximately 18 stone 1. Holland figures in his upbringing, and he played for a Barbarians side. Dan, you get first dibs on this one.
Do you play for the Toronto Arrows?
Yeah.
Bryan.
Do we have to keep playing, or can we just say hello to Mr. Quattrin? Or can we call him Quatrill, or what's his proper name? What's your name, Andrew Quattrin?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Come on in, mystery guest, Mr. Andrew Quattrin, often called Quatrill by his best friends.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. How you doing?
Yeah, and look at Dan's photo there. Is that
Good timing.
Yeah, that was so tough. I was at school and they asked me to put the weight on. We just walked in the weight room, just put weight on it. It was so lame and it's so embarrassing. But yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Isn't it just a little bit creepy that Dan has that photo behind him with you?
No, I love that from Mr. Power. That's awesome. That's great.
To be honest, it's usually under my wife's pillow, but I borrowed it just for the show.
I've tried to do damage control because I know his last name. I've met him. He's been on the show. And I still butchered it. Must have been thinking of Angus Quatrill for some reason. If you and him had a son, it would be super rugby player. That's what it was. That's what it was.
You might not have noticed, but this
digging
is
a deep hole.
This is actually Mr. Quatrill rising up to godly status above his teammates over here in the corner in the back there.
Andrew, we have serious issues on this show, just to let you know, if you haven't guessed already.
No, I love it. I love it. It's awesome. The energy's great.
Oh, man. But I went and watched the game back now twice, and I did call you Quattrin a number of times, except when you scored the most important try of the season. I said Quatrill, but then I said Q, and I went back to Quattrin. So it's just the Alzheimer's and concussions. It's not that I don't know your name, but I got rightfully fried on social media, and I accept that.
Yeah, I'm taking hits too from my buddies. I mean, there just must be no point in filling out the pronunciation of our names on the MLR sheets anymore, because you never know what you're going to get.
No, there is. Please do that. Anywho, welcome. You have to feel great about that win in Hoboken, New Jersey. And you always seem to play well in New York.
Yeah, I think honestly they probably bring the best out of us. When we played them here in Toronto, and even the year last year in Atlanta, in our Atlanta season. I think they just bring the best of us. We know that they're a big team and that they're expecting a big tilt, and we just always come to play because we know it's going to be a great matchup with them. They're always a good side, so it's awesome.
31 games on the road consecutive. I'm counting the game in Victoria as a road game, even though, technicalities, blah, blah, blah. I mean, how does it feel to finally be getting back to home base?
It's going to be awesome. I mean, just even playing in front of like family and friends. Friends are like asking for tickets and stuff, which is great. It's kind of surreal. Like you vocalized, like it's been 3 years. like I don't even remember the last time playing there. It's really exciting.
Head coaching train, Quats, you go with Pete Smith, you bring him in, notorious hard man, Smithy. He led with his shoulders when he played. How's that Chris been to Smithy taking over the reins there up in Toronto?
Yeah, I think Pete's got a great knowledge for the game. He's got a good relationship with the players too. And he's just been awesome because I think he kind of understands, being a player himself very recently, he kind of understands how we think and stuff. So if we bring a question to him, he can kind of in his head be like, okay, as a player, this is what they're thinking. And he's very approachable, like he's open. And I think he kind of asks for that, for us to be transparent with him. So it's great. And Chris is still around, which is awesome, helping with player development and stuff. So it's really good to have Silver around still, because he's been with the club forever.
You know, what I noticed is your front row, and you guys seem to click. I mean, you had some struggles there at times in this particular match, but you hung in there, and you waited for the biggest moment of the match to have your best scrum.
Yeah.
Right at death, man. How was that?
Yeah.
How did that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, and the 80th minute's tough, right? But no, it just kind of struggling, a bit in the scrum there, but finally getting it to click at the end was awesome. I think Cole Keith had 21 tackles in the game, and Isaac had about 14 carries and 8 tackles. So just monster games from those two. And just to be able to hold that scrum down, lock it down, was awesome.
What was the chat coming into this season, knowing you're going back out for the start of the year again? Where did the playing staff, Smith, where did you want to be when you came into this weekend now, the first home game?
I think we just wanted to leave last year in the back of our minds, just forget about it type of thing. That was tough on a lot of boys, and kind of have that open mindset that, hey, we're going to have a little road trip here, a little tour, and then we're going to be back at home and it's going to be great.
Kind of a ropey start to the season, Seattle, and a tough one against LA. So what's the difference between those performances and the ones we've seen the past 2 weeks?
I think, we looked at the LA game, and I think we started off pretty hot, and we kind of let them have it in the second half. Where this, I can almost look at it like a slow build. Like that first half, we were kind of stringing things together this past weekend, and then that second half, we just continued to have solid defense, and fortunately, we're able to just hold on for that win. Again, didn't really capitalize on some things in the red zone, which we'll look at. But I mean, the defensive stands that we had, pretty nerve-wracking, having New York with 3 driving maul attempts in 5 minutes, a man down type of thing. So just some heroic stuff from our back line and the guys in the forward pack. It's great to see.
Other than the Toronto Arrows, who's the best team, in your opinion, in the East?
Honestly, in the whole league, right? It's who shows up on Saturday right now. But I think Atlanta, they're big boys defensively. They're just a blitz team. And they just carry hard. They translate that on the offense too. So that is it's going to be a great tilt this weekend.
Andrew Quattrin, the star of the Toronto Arrows up front, and what a force of nature that guy is. We'll be right back with Nate Augspurger of San Diego on.
Selling or trading in your vehicle? She makes it easy. With Easy Trade, start online or visit us in store. We want your vehicle, and we'll give you up to 125% of KBB value.
It's easy at Shehe.com.
All right, San Diego Legion fans, here we are with none other than Sudden Nate Augspurger. That's his new nickname, Sudden Nate. Doesn't make any sense, but we're going to go with it. Nate, we got to get to know you a little bit more, all right? And I'm going to fire some questions at you, and you're going to answer these questions as you see fit. Let's just get right down to it. You live in San Diego. Who's your favorite Padre?
Ooh, favorite Padre? Tatis, for sure. He's the hottest thing out right now, and the man can play.
When the Padres play the Twins, who do you root for?
I'm a homer guy. I root for the Twins. I root for the Minnesota Wild, even though I don't watch those teams in particular, but I'm a huge Vikings fan and big into the Timberwolves, especially right now. Timberwolves getting ready for the playoffs.
Ooh, all right. But folks at home that might not know this, he is from Minnesota, so you can go easy on him for picking the Twins over the Padres. Kirk Cousins, love him or hate him?
mixed emotions, but love him because I want to back the guy that we're stuck with.
Oh, you are a good fan. I got to tell you, Kirk Cousins is a
I want to be
quarterback.
real. I want to be genuine so that when it happens that day, when the Minnesota actually fun story, when the Minnesota Miracle happened, I was in a Old Blue apartment, New York Old Blue Rugby Club. Shout out to them, Nash Bash champions. Anyways, side note, I was in one of their houses and I jumped up on the couch and broke it. Just straight up, just snapped the wood on the couch. I was running around. Everybody's like, "Dude, all right, you broke the couch now." And
all right, but that had to be a crappy couch to begin with. So F them.
Yeah. We just put bricks underneath it. Held it up. It was so good.
Yeah, what a crappy couch. Will Team USA beat Chile and qualify for the Rugby World Cup?
Yes. You gotta be, front up on that. I'm not gonna sit here and leave leeway for any negative thinking going into that game. We got to win that game, and it's on us to go and back it.
That was a layup, that question, just to get you back and throw you off a little for the next one. What would you do if Will Smith slapped you?
I'd hope I'd be as big of a man as Chris Rock was, and just kind of, depends on the setting, Matt. We gotta talk about setting. Like, are we in the street? Like, are we at a bar? Or are we at the Academy Awards?
You're at the RUs. That's the Rugby Wrap-Up Awards. The RUs. That's where you are. You're on stage accepting your.
I wouldn't want to disrespect your program. I wouldn't want to disrespect it by acting out there. I'd like to think that I'd be able to control my emotions a bit, but I think the natural instinct is I'm coming back. I think that's the kind of personality I have.
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm bouncing back. I'm coming for more. I would have ended the show potentially just then.
All right. Okay. The capital of Iceland is Reykjavik. Which Major League Rugby player, not on the Legion right now, would you want to play with?
Ooh, that's a tough question, man. That's a tough question.
And we threw you with the Reykjavik thing, didn't we?
Yeah, I think I'd be down to play with Bodine Waka. He's pretty fun. He seems like really good. I mean, he's playing great rugby. Obviously, New England's doing well because of it. But I actually got to play against Bodine Waka in Singapore Sevens, and beat him when he was a sweeper. But that doesn't mean he's a bad player. I'm just saying I got one on him in that tournament. But yeah, I'll play with Bodine Waka. I'll play with him.
Will the San Diego Legion win the Major League Rugby Shield this season?
I'll answer just how I answered the other one. Yes, we got to go for it. I mean, I'm not going to do the classic, like, oh, yeah, and if we don't, like, blah, blah, blah. No, I just think I believe in our team. I believe what we can do. So if we get the opportunity, which is totally in our control still and up to us, we control our own destiny. If we get the opportunity, I believe we can win the Shield for sure.
Is it true that you're teaching Chris Bowman how to surf?
No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I don't surf. I'm not the surf guy. Chris Bowman is actually teaching me how to play darts, which isn't really like something you got to learn, but he's really good. So him and Jason Higgins apparently go hard at the dartboard.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, that's Bowman teaches me that for sure.
In the movie about you, who plays you?
Holy smokes. I got a lot of funny actors popping into my head. I have to be somebody who's got a decent build on him, so I can't go with The Rock. He's just too big. I have to be like someone who's short and stocky. You know what? How about Nelly, the rapper, the one who played was acting in The Longest Yard,
Okay. All right.
Nelly. Yeah.
All right.
He's fast. Now you could tell he's a good athlete. I want somebody who's a good athlete to play me, not like some, I want Tom Cruise out there, doing his thing. Yeah, that's
all right. One last question: if a plane crashes on the border of Scotland and Wales, where do they bury the survivors?
In Scotland.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That's unfortunate because A, you don't bury survivors, and B, Scotland and Wales don't border. It was a two-parter. And on that note, thank you.
It's been a good day.
Final,
nice, Matt.
Let me leave this to you before we let you go. Before we let you go, though, anything you want to say to the San Diego Legion fans?
Yeah, hey, Legion fans, we love you. We love seeing you. We know we got some home games coming up here soon. We've been on the road a lot, but we can't wait to have you guys out to the games and just keep supporting us, keep pouring into us, because yeah, we're gonna start getting things clicking here and be in this race 100%.
And on that note, thank you, Nate. We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Matt. Appreciate it. All the best out east. Stay
Gotta take a
warm.
quick break and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Been blind since I was 4. And I've never seen a beer commercial or a beer label. None of that stuff influences me. I drink beer because of the taste. And my beer is Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has the taste and the flavor.
What do you think's on the label?
I think there's a naked woman riding on a unicorn, jumping over fire. Oh, that's good beer.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street. And we are back. Bryan, you are the happiest that I've ever seen you on this program right now. Share the euphoria with the folks at home.
This is probably the greatest moment of my life since Japan beat Scotland in the World Cup a couple of years ago. Just when Quatrill scored, I was just in a rapture. It was ridiculous.
And it's got nothing to do with the A on my forehead?
I've got an A on my forehead too, but mine's the good one.
Oh, all right. Dan, let's get to you because we got Utah welcoming in San Diego. A tricky one to pick, but San Diego's coming off the bye week, and San Diego is maybe the favorite going in there.
Wasn't really that impressed with Utah on the weekend. They've got new scrum half coming in, young fella, and going, obviously related to Sid Going. I think it's his grandson, which will give him some depth at 9. But I think San Diego get the win here on the road in Utah, mate.
Tough call. San Diego's going to have a big advantage in the line-out, especially if Jamie Lane, who got hurt in the last game against Houston, if he's not playing, they're up against Ben Grant and Ben Mitchell, who are just towers at the line-out. So I think that's where San Diego's going to have a big advantage in this. And Paul Lasike, though, man, he looked angry against Houston. So, I'm tempted to pick Utah here, but I'm going to go with San Diego as well.
Since this show is now being carried on your view in San Diego, I'm picking San Diego. How about that?
Stay classy, man.
Yeah, stay classy, San Diego. No, that's a no-brainer for me. The next one up, Tirana, Bryan. Tirana, they're welcoming in Atlanta.
There's a lot to like about that win against New York. Just backs against the wall, showed so much grit and determination. Really has summed up the Arrows ethos too, with all the adversity they've faced in their existence. But how much is left in the tank to bring in one of the top teams in the East? I would say that the emotion and the occasion is going to be enough to get Toronto over the line here. Hopefully they get some players back this week. Bryan might have some insight into that. But I will go Toronto to go back-to-back here 2 weeks in a row. Atlanta will just get caught in the headlights that is the Toronto faithful.
Atlanta ran out of gas at 50 minutes against New England, and they look a little bit tired as well, because I expected them to roll on and win that game against New England after the start they had, but they look a little bit tired maybe. And like you said, the entire forward pack for the Arrows went pretty much 80 minutes aside from that yellow and a short little blood sub for Shep. But they are going to get a couple bodies back this week. So, and at home, there's no chance in hell I'm going to pick against the Arrows. So Toronto's going to win this one. It'll be a good game, though. I'm really looking forward to it.
What's the weather going to be like? Is it going to be freezing and snowing or
mid to low 40s?
Mid to low 40s. All right. Well, Atlanta's been kind of playing in some cold weather, but that's a trip for them. And I was very impressed with Toronto. And if they get a couple of 3 bodies back, even if they don't, the guys that played in this match, New York's a tough team. They beat Atlanta, and Toronto won on the road in New York. And Sam Malcolm just continues to impress me. That guy, yeah, he can kick, but he also tackles. He takes on everybody. He takes him to the ground. The chop tackles, he's getting run over. Who's getting up last after the guy was tackled? Sam Malcolm. So tip my cap to him. I'm going with Tirana. New England hosting New Orleans, another Eastern Conference team on top and one struggling a little bit. What do you think of New Orleans and New England, Brian?
Well, I mean, the Free Jack just turned it on in that last half hour against ATL, and it's just, they just changed their tactics slightly. And I mean, Walker went off, he got hurt, and then Harry Boyle came in and did a great job filling in. I full confidence that New England's going to take this one.
Best team in Major League Rugby right now, the New England Free Jacks. So until they lose or someone proves otherwise, I'll keep picking them. They'll get the win here. Nola did look a lot better last week than they have in recent weeks, but just don't think they've got what they need to win on the road there in South Boston, a.k.a. Quincy.
I agree with you. I think New Orleans disappointing at best this year, and I think without Nola Nate Osborne in there and his good luck charm, they're going to lose to New England by 10 points. And New England just is very impressive. Playing shorthanded and scoring those points in Atlanta. Come on, what's not to like? New York versus Old Glory. Is this Old Glory's week, Brian?
I mean, look, they got a bonus point. They scored their 4 tries, and they have looked dangerous with ball in hand. We knew they were going to look dangerous, but they still are conceding points too easily, and I can't see New York losing another one at home. So going with New York in this one.
Dan, it's, you got no wins. You got to expect a coaching change at some point. But is this the banana peel match for New York?
Potentially. I would feel a lot more comfortable saying that as an Old Glory fan if New York beat Toronto on the weekend. But knowing Martyville a little bit, I'm guessing this week in New York's not going to be a pleasant one for the squad. And they'll probably be treating this game against Old Glory as a pretty serious game. And more so now because they need it to stay in that top 3 on the East, because Toronto is starting to work their way into form and they have a run at home. So third place is somewhat up for grabs a little bit here, and they're going to want to keep in touch with ATL and New England as well.
See, this is a tough one for me because I know the guys from New York. I know how they took this defeat and they weren't happy about it, and they need 5 points. They need a 5-point win. They let another home game get away from them, and I think they're going to come loaded for bear for this one. And Old Glory plays tough, but it's also even more difficult for me because of the good feelings that I have about Old Glory. And every time I sit in my 2022 Volkswagen Taos that I got from Sheehy Auto Stores, and that's Paul Sheehy, the co-owner of DC, along with Chris Dunleavy. So it's tough for me, but I am going with New York by 10 points in this one. Austin hosting Houston in a Texas Derby, Brian.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. I mean, Austin, a couple losses in a row, and then they got the bye week, so hopefully they, sorted some problems out. Houston looked pretty good, in Utah. They got Hedy Labuschagne back, and he was on fire on the wing. Willie Britt's big return. This is a tougher one to call maybe than it would have been a couple weeks ago. You know what? I'm going to back the AGs to bounce back in this one. I think it's going to be a great game. I'll pick Austin in a really close one.
Doesn't get bigger than the Texas Cup, does it? Austin, Houston, the history favors the Gilgronis in the Texas Cup, but form probably favors the Sabercats coming into this one. They're 2 in a row, Austin the other way. To me, it all depends on Julian Dominguez. If he is available and fit, Austin is a different side. If he is still out with whatever his ailment may be, I think Houston's going to go into Bold Stadium and reclaim the cup here for 2022.
Interesting. I picked Sabercats on the road in Utah last week. This is a shorter trip, shorter drive. Austin reeling a little bit, very tough one to call, but I think I'm going to go with the Sabercats. LA, the Giltinis, hosting Dallas. Dan, I know you're taking Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, it only takes a poorly constructed walkway to beat Dallas these days, unfortunately. Their season not getting any better with that news coming out. Luckily, everyone's okay and avoided serious injuries. So that's a positive. But boy, what a cursed season down there for the Jackals, unfortunately. LA, 100% in this one. The question is, does the scoreboard guy have a third slot to put numbers in at the old baseball stadium? We'll find out on Saturday.
Brian, every team's got a puncher's chance in this league.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that's the best term to be talking about to this game after the punches that Dallas got. Oh, my goodness. I mean, half their team is in the infirmary right now. They're scraping bodies from other teams. They don't even have 23, but fit by themselves pretty much. Just an unfortunate situation, and right at the time when LA is starting to click again. So, I mean, the question is, how many points is it going to be, really? So, this will be a tough one to watch.
Yeah, it is tough, and we want nothing but the best for those guys down in Dallas. And one could say, well, maybe LA will underestimate and rest some guys and everything else, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think LA wants to they need the 5-point bonus wins going forward in this conference. So LA by a lot, unfortunately. On that note, we're out of time. I want to thank Mr. Andrew Quattrin, Mr. Bryan Ray, and Mr. Dan Power. I'm Matt McCarthy on behalf of these gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to our newsletter. Please press that subscribe button on YouTube. Please check out our other segments, including the College Rugby Wrap-Up and TRO, the Rugby Odds, and please sign up for our American Red Cross Blood Donor Team.